View tab, Tools tab, Help tab. When you go to each tab, you'll find lot of options. When I go to Transform tab, you'll see lot of options. Each one we call it as a GUI option. Detect data type is one GUI option. So pivot column is one GUI option. Convert to list is one GUI option. So when you go to each one, you'll find a lot of options. Again, sometimes under this, you will find a lot of GUI options, lowercase, uppercase, capital A, each word. So like this, in the ribbon, let me write here, third section is ribbon. Ribbon will contain multiple tabs and each tab will contains hundreds of GUI options. Ribbon will contains multiple tabs and each tab will contain hundreds of GUI options. Each tab will contains ribbon will contains multiple tabs and each tab will contains multiple GUI options, which we use to transform the data, Whenever we need to transform the data, ribbon will contains multiple tabs and each tab will contains a multiple GUI options. We use the GUI options for what purpose? For transforming the data. We use them for transforming the data. Whenever we need to do any transformation on the data, now let's take an example. I have a sales column. I want to round the sales values. Now it is showing in the decimal places. I don't want in the decimal places. I want to round the sales values. When I want to round the sales values, I want to identify the right GUI option here and I need to use it. So somewhere in the transform tab, when you go here, you will see rounding. You have an option here, round up, round down, round the numbers. I want to round the numbers to 0 decimal places. When I press OK, the sales values got rounded here. Like this, whenever you need to transform any data on any column, so we will use this GUI options. So we need to start learning in the home tab, what are the GUI options I have, how to use it. In the transform tab, what are the GUI options we have, when to use it, how to use it. In the add column tab, what are the GUI options we have, when to use it, how to use it. Conditional column is there. What is this conditional column? When we need to use it, how to use it. Duplicate column is there. What is this option? When I need to use it. Invoke custom function is there. What is this invoke custom function? When we need to use this option, we need to know. So like this, lot of options are there. We'll discuss about every option. So we'll go to each tab. We'll see what are the different options we have, how we will use that. When we need to use that, we'll discuss it, guys. For now, at a high level, just understand this is the ribbon. So tomorrow, if I said that go to the ribbon, the meaning is what? Go to the ribbon means I'm asking to go to this area. Go to the ribbon means I'm asking to go to the top one. And in the ribbon, go to add column tab. Add column tab means I'm asking to go to this tab and click on merge columns, something there. So I can tell you, and in the add column, click on conditional column. So when you know about the UI, it is easy for me to explain it. It is easy for me to explain any option. Fine. The next one is, once after the ribbon, the important one is the fourth section. The fourth section we call it as query settings pane. In the right hand you are seeing query settings pane. Let me remove this step. So query settings pane. The query settings pane will contain two parts. Query settings pane, important section. Just understand. So it will contain two parts. One part in the query settings pane is properties. And second part is applied steps. So this right side area we call it as query settings pane. Under this query settings pane, one part is properties, second part is applied steps. So this is properties and this is applied steps. In the query settings pane, you'll see one properties, second one is applied steps. So about properties, this is too early to understand. So in the going forward classes, I'll explain all these properties. What is this enable load to report? what is include in report refresh, what is this query properties window, we'll discuss it. For now, keep it on hold about these properties. Let's understand about applied steps. Applied steps. So in the query settings pane, we will try to understand what is this applied steps. Applied steps. What applied steps will contains is, applied steps will contains the ETL operations you performed on any table. When you select any table, on the table, how many ETL activities you performed, all the ETL activities will be recorded here. Tomorrow when you bring some tables, we will even perform 20 ETL activities. Who will remember what activities we performed? No one can remember it. So if you want to understand what are the ETL activities I performed on this table, you can go to the applied steps. You can see what ETL steps you performed on the table. If you perform 20 ETL steps, you can see 20 ETL steps here. Let me write first here. Applied steps will show, applied steps will contains list of ETL operations we perform on the table, guys. Applied steps will contains all the ETL steps, all the ETL steps we performed on the table. Selected table. So when you select any table here, when you go and select orders table, in the orders table it is showing 4 ETL steps you performed. When I select customer data table, it is telling that 3 ETL operations you performed. When I select sales table, it is telling that we performed 2 operations. When you select EMP table, you are seeing some 4 ETL steps here. So applied steps will contains all the ETL steps we performed on a selected table. You just want to go and select the table and you can see it. Now if you see, I just bought EMP table. I don't even perform 1 ETL operation also here, if you remember, right? So then why it is showing for 4 steps here? So even when you bring the sales table, I don't even perform 1 ETL operation also here. You are seeing 2 steps. So even in the people's table, I just bought the people's table from Excel. I don't even perform 1 ETL operation also. So you are seeing here. So when you bring the tables, by default, you will get some default ETL steps here. When you bring the tables into the Power Query, you'll get some default steps. When you bring, we'll discuss, when you bring tables into the Power Query, you'll get some ETL steps automatically. So what are the ETL steps which you are going to get automatically? Let's understand. So I bought a table here, orders table. In the orders table, I don't even perform 1 step so far. I'm seeing 4 steps. What are these 4 steps? Let's try to understand. The first step it is telling is, you got one orders table. From which source you got it? Whether you got this orders table from Excel, whether you got this order table from SQL Server, are you able to differentiate these tables here? Look at this. So by looking at the table names or by looking at the symbols somewhere here, are you able to differentiate this table is coming from Excel, this table is coming from SQL Server? It is not possible, guys. In the queries pane, by looking at here, we cannot differentiate from where we are getting the tables. And if you want to understand this table is coming from where, you can go to the first step, you can understand it, source. When I click on source, so here, first thing you need to do is, you need to enable the formula bar here. In the middle, you'll get the formula bar. I'll talk about that formula bar. 5th section I said, right? You need to enable it. How can you enable the formula bar? You need to go to view tab. In the view tab, you have a checkbox called formula bar. By default, this option will be unchecked. You need to check it. You need to get the formula bar, guys. Click on the formula bar. When I click on formula bar, you got an additional section here, right? So when I want to understand from which source this table is coming, you just click on source. When you click on source, it will show this orders table is coming from Excel, excel.workbook, and that Excel path it will show. Where is that Excel file located? So what is the path you given? Browsed, that Excel path it will show. This table is coming from this Excel file, guys. Okay. Now Excel file will contain multiple sheets or multiple tables in it. It contains multiple sheets. Which sheet data is orders? So if you see this orders Excel, You are seeing that Excel here, desktop backup, source files, sample superstore. In that sample superstore, you are seeing three different sheets: orders, returns, peoples. So in these three sheets, which sheet data, I might rename it. I might rename it to A. This A table belongs to which sheet? So later on, once you bring the table, it is not mandatory that you need to keep the same name. You can even rename it. Now, if I want to understand which table data it is, you can see it in the navigation pane, guys. When you go to the navigation, in the navigation pane, it will tell you which sheet data it is. This A table is coming from which sheet data? This A table is coming from order sheet. Order sheet. In the navigation, it is telling that which sheet data it is. Orders, sheet data. Okay. The third step is when it selected order sheet in the Excel, the data is looking like this. So when data is looking like this, Power BI understand that the first row is not the data, the first row is header. So Power BI understand the first row is not the data, first row is header. How Power BI understand is only for the first row you have textual information here. For remaining all the rows, you have what information? You have number information. You have number information. Remaining all the rows, I have number information. Only for first row, I have text information. Remaining all the rows, I have date information. So Power BI, Power Query will run some algorithm in the backend. Only for the first row when you have text information, remaining all the rows if you have another information, that means it is not the data, it is a header. And the third step, it is automatically promoting the headers. It is promoting the first row to headers in the third step. Third step. When it got promoted to the headers, for every column, you are seeing the data type as ABC123. ABC123, ABC123, ABC123C. You are seeing ABC123 means any data type. So in any reporting project, the data type of the column is important. You will understand. So here, the data type of the column is any. So basically, for every column, we need to assign the right data type of the column. Based on what data we have under the column, we need to change the data type. So Power BI itself is reading the values in the column and it is changing the data type of the column. Fourth step, it is changing the data type of the column. So it got read the values, it contains whole numbers. In this step, it will change it to whole number. It will read the values, it contains alphanumeric special characters. It change the data type to text. It read these values, it contains date values, it will change the data type to text. Look at this, the fourth step is change data type. So for this column, it is giving the data type as whole number. For order ID column, it is giving the data type as text. For order date column, it is giving the data type as date. We'll discuss it. So these are the four default steps which it is performing when we bring any tables to Power Query. So I bring a table from Excel. When I bring a table from Excel, it is showing these four ETL steps. Right? First step, this A table is coming from which source? You can see it. It is coming from Excel. And what is the Excel path? We can see it here. And in that Excel, which sheet data it is? I can see it here, order sheet data. So when we select order sheet data, the data is looking like this. Power BI automatically understand this is not data, it is header. It got promoted to the header. As you bring this column, a table from a text file, or an Excel file, so Excel, so here everything is a text. In the file, every column is a text column. And when you bring that column here, the column data type is any. We need to give the right data type to the columns. You will understand what is data type, why we need to change the data type, what is the importance of data type. We'll discuss in the coming classes, tomorrow's class. And it is changing the data type of each column. It is reading the data, it is changing the data type. Even if Power Query is not performing these two steps, we need to perform it manually. So if Power Query is not promoting to the headers, as a developer, we need to promote it. If Power Query is not changing the data type, we need to change the data type of the column. But on behalf of us, Power Query is doing this, right? These are the four default steps you are seeing. The same way, when I go to the people's table, I'm seeing only three steps. Which step is missing? So let me rename it to orders again, back to orders. So if you look at this, between orders table, you are seeing source, navigation, promoted headers, change type. Here, what is missing is promoted headers is missing. Why? Why promoted headers is missing? We'll see. Same guys. First step is source. As usual, this people's table is coming from which source? Excel. And what is the path? You can see navigation. In the Excel, this people table contains which data? In the navigation, you can see in the Excel, the people's table contains people sheet data. People sheet data. And when it take people sheet data, the data is looking like this. So when data is looking like this, Power BI is not able to identify this row as header. Actually, this is each region have one salesperson. When each region have a salesperson, actually this is not the data, it is a header. I need to move it to the header. So how can I move it to the header? So you need to click on use first row as header. Why Power BI is not doing it? In the orders table, Power BI is doing, in the third step, Power BI identified this row as a header, it is moving here. But here, it is not moving. Why it is not moving here? Why? What is the reason? Why it is not moving this row to the header? So here, data is text, the column
Data is text in, yeah.
Right. Data is text and column is text. There is no chance of identifying here. When you go here, so the data is here, only first row contains textual information, remaining rows contains numeric information. Only first row contains text information, remaining contains date information. There is a chance of identifying it here. So, but when it comes to people's table, there is no chance. This is a text, all these values are text. So that is the reason it is not moving to the header. So in the third step, it is not moving it to the header, and directly it is changing the data type of the column. It contains textual information. It is giving data type as text. This also contains textual information. It is giving it as text. So before we change the data type, let's remove this step. So you need to promote this row to the header. Here, as a developer, we need to manually do it. This is not the data, this is the header. Click on use first row as header. When I move to header, and automatically it is performing one more step, changing the data type of the column. Power BI have the intelligence to read the values in the column and changing the data type to the column. Power BI have the intelligence to read the values and change the data type. So in the people's table, now I formatted it properly. And same way returns table also. What is the source? Excel. And what is the navigation? Which sheet data it is? It is return sheet data. And here also, this is not the data, this is header. Power BI is not doing that step. The reason is this is a text and the values are also text. This is text, values are also text. There is no scope for identifying this column as a header. So now remove this step and click on use first row as header. Go to the home tab, click on use first row as header. When you move the first row to header, Power BI will read the values and it will change the data type of the column. Power BI will read the values and it will change the data type of the column. Same way, when you go to the customer data table, we derived one additional step called customer full name. Let me remove this. Now, when I bring the table from SQL Server, customer data table is coming from SQL Server. So when you bring tables from SQL Server, you are seeing only two steps. Even remove this step also. We bring the tables from SQL Server, you are seeing only two steps. When you bring the tables from Excel, you see in 4 steps. Source, navigation, promoted headers, change type. When you bring the table from SQL Server, you will see only source and navigation. You are not seeing 2 more steps. Why? Now, so this customer data table is coming from where? You can see it in where? Source. I can just go to the source. I can understand it is coming from SQL database. SQL Server database. And what is the server name? While connecting to this database, I given the server name. This is the server from where I am bringing the table. In that server, it contains 5 different databases. From which database you are getting this customer data table? You can find it in where? Navigation. When I go to the navigation, in that there is a database with the name product database. In that database, there is a table with the name customer data, right? So in the navigation, you can see. So in the source, I given the server name only. That server name it is showing. And once you give the server name, in the navigation, I go to the product database. In the product database, I selected customer data table. You are seeing customer data table here, right? So now you are not promoting to the header. You are not changing the data type. So basically, when you are bringing the tables from database, in the database, we'll have tables. Tables will contains a header and data. So that header will automatically come to Power Query, the data will automatically come. When you are bringing the data from databases, the database will contain a proper formatted table which contains header and data. That header will come to header automatically, data will come to data. You don't want to do it again. And even in the database, when you create a table, when you create a column, for each column will give the data type. Will give the data type. For each column will have a data type in the database. The table will contain columns. When you create each column, will give the data type. The data type will come automatically. Power Query, it no need to perform a step changing the data type. When you are bringing the data from file will store data. Every data type is text in the file. When you bring it, you need to change the data type. When it is a database, already you will have a data type to the column, the data type will come. The data type will come. That is the reason you are not seeing the two more steps here. Two more steps. When you go and perform any additional step, even in the product data table, you are seeing two steps. You can easily understand this product data table is coming from which source and what is the navigation. And we are not promoting it to the header. We don't want to change the data type. So you will get it automatically from the database. Now, so when I want to convert the product name to uppercase, you just go to the transform tab, go to the format, click on uppercase. When I click on uppercase, the data will be converted to the uppercase and it got added a third step. From now, in this table, if you perform any ETL operation, for that ETL operation, it will add one step here. So you can even rename this step. So it is giving a generic name. So you converted the product name to uppercase. It is giving a text called uppercase to the text. Instead of writing like this, uppercase to the text. So better to rename this step. Right click on it, rename the step. Uppercase with the text. Which text? Product name. Product name. Tomorrow, when you come to this step, you can easily understand that in this step, we are uppercasing the product name. So like this, when you go and perform any ETL operation from now on any table, in the applied steps, it will add a new step. So even here, when you go and join these 2-3 columns into one column, go to add column, merge columns, it will add a new step. Separator is space and new column name is full name, customer full name. So when I press OK, it will add a new step here and it will give a generic name, inserted merged column. So instead of this, right click on it, rename this step. For your better understanding, you can rename it. So merged column, customer full name, customer full name. As what you will understand, how you will understand, you can write it, customer full name. I'll give it. So I derived customer full name here. I can rename it. You got it. So like this, go to each table. When you do the transformation, it will record every step here. On the table, how many transformations we performed, all that will be recorded here. This is applied steps case. Applied steps will contains all the ETL selected table. Now, when you perform any ETL operation, under that ETL operation, what is the M language code it is writing? We can see it in the formula bar. The fifth section, this is formula bar. So by default, let me write here. First thing you need to do is enable the formula bar. Formula bar. So formula bar, by default, formula bar will not be shown in the Power Query. By default, formula bar will not show in the Power Query UI. Power Query UI case, it will not show. So if you want to get the formula bar in Power Query UI, Power Query user interface, UI is nothing but user interface. To get the formula bar, Power Query UI, so go to view tab, and you'll find an option called check formula bar option. When you check the formula bar option, you'll get it. So enable it. It will help us when you are doing the ETL operations in the going forward classes. By default, in the formula bar will be unchecked. First thing you need to do is, once after opening the formula bar, go to view tab, check on this button, you'll get the formula bar. What it will show, when you perform any ETL operation, that particular ETL operation M language code it will show. Formula bar will show particular ETL step M language code. Formula bar will show selected ETL step M language code. Selected ETL step M language code. M stands for what? Mashup language. The full form for M is mashup language. Mashup language. So when you go to the formula bar here, when you select any step, when I select source steps, under this step, what is the M language code? Navigation step, under this step, sorry guys, under this step, what is the M language code? Merged column step, under this step, what is the M language code? So when you merge the column, in the background of this merge columns GU option, it is writing this code. So under this column, there is a function called text.combine. To that function, you are passing first name, middle name, last name, and it is combining the three columns. While combining, what is the separator you want? Space. So for any particular step, if you want to see the M language code, you can see in the formula bar tab, guys. In the formula bar, these are the multiple sections we have in the Power Query user interface. 5 different sections, right? So sometimes we'll have 20 ETL steps here. So going to each step and seeing the M language code will take time. Going to each step and seeing the M language code will take time. Instead of that, I want to see all the M language code in one place. There is an option called advanced editor. The 6th option is advanced editor. So in the advanced editor, what you can see? So there is a last option here. In the home tab, you'll find advanced editor. When you select any table, when you click on advanced editor, you will see all the steps M language code in one place. In the orders table, totally I have 4 steps. I want to see all the M language code in one line. So or else let me add few more steps. I want to derive the year from order date column. Go to add column, date, click on year. So I want to convert the customer name to uppercase. Customer name to uppercase. Select the customer name column, go to the transform format, click on uppercase. So how many steps you have? All the steps M language code I want to see in one place. When you select any step, for that step M language code, you can see it in formula bar. But when I want to see all the M language code in one place, you can go with advanced editor. When I click on select the table, when I click on advanced editor, it will open a window where you can see the complete M language code. On the table, how many steps you have? First step source, second step navigation, third step promoted headers, fourth step changing data type, fifth step inserted year, derived the year column, and sixth step uppercase the text. And what is the code they are writing behind data? So date.year is the M language function they are using to derive the year, and text.upper is the function it is taking to convert the customer name to uppercase. You can see the M language code in the back end. So advanced editor will show the complete M language code of a table. All the ETL steps M language code. For a selected table, If you select a table, when you click on advanced editor, it will show all the ETL steps M language code in one place. Okay. And if you want to see what are you bought totally 10 tables. If you want to understand from where you are getting each table graphically, in the view tab, you'll find an option called query dependencies. When I click on query dependencies, I can understand from these tables are coming from which source. When I click on query dependencies, when I go here, totally I have 10 tables. The 10 tables are coming from which sources? You can clearly see it. From this Excel, you are getting these 3 tables. And from this server database, SQL Server database, you are getting these 4 tables. And this is coming from this table. So where you can see this? In the view tab, you will find query dependencies. In the query dependencies, you can understand the tables are coming from which different data sources. These are the multiple sections we have in the Power Query user interface. Any questions so far? about the options in the Power Query user interface. Any questions? You can change the code. You can even directly edit the code in the M language code. So here, if you see in the customer data table, I derived a customer full name column and I taken a space here. If you know how to edit this code, you can directly edit this code here. Instead of space, I want comma. When I go and keep comma here, when I press enter, you'll get the comma here. So between first name and middle name and last name, you got the comma. You can even directly edit this code if you know how to edit that code. If you know how to edit it. Any questions?
Sir, I have one question. Like, suppose if any text file contains data, which suppose each word after that, if we have any semicolon. So, if suppose we import that text file into the Power BI, is it converted as a table or how it will be taken?
See, it is a comma. Then you need to tell that it's a separated file. You want to take an option text or CSV file, it will convert. So when you bring the file, so you mean to say I have ABC and semicolon XYZ and semicolon 1 2 3 something like this. If you want them each one in a different column, you can get it. It will split it. It will show you here. New source, it will ask you, will you want to split it or not? So click on new source. I want to bring some CSV file here. So comma separated file, we call it as D drive, Power BI material, Power View, or else Power Query, combine queries, append queries. When you take any file, it will tell you the separator there. I'm taking, so delimiter is comma. When you bring any table with semicolon, it will show delimiter is semicolon. So if you want in a separate column, you can take it in a separate column. If you want in a one column, you can even bring it into one column.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right. Any other questions? Fine. Every day what I'll do is, so I given the credentials to you. app.powerbi.com, how to access Power BI service, app.powerbi.com. I given the username and password also to access this. So I'm giving username here and I'll give the password. Once I signed in here, I'll be logging into the Power BI service. I'll create one workspace for our batch. Workspace, create a workspace. I'll give one workspace name here. The workspace name I'll give like this, batch 9 AM, February, current month, Feb 2020, Power BI files. Power BI files. So batch 9 AM. So I'm creating one workspace with the name, sorry guys, 2021 Power BI files. 2021 Power BI files. Batch 9 AM Feb 2021 Power BI files. Click on save. A workspace will be created here. A workspace will be created here. And every day, whatever the report, I'll click on close and apply. How can you load these 10 tables? Click on close and apply. When I click on close and apply, all the tables, transformer tables will be loaded to PowerPoint. All the transformer tables will be loaded to PowerPoint. Now, in this report, I will add one new page. Every day, I don't share this running notes through mail. I'll save this. I'll add a text box here. I'll add a text box. In the text box, I'll paste the running notes. Today, whatever I discussed here, I'll add this text here in the text box. And once after adding this text, I'll save it. Click on save, desktop. I'll give the name as Power Query user interface. Today we discussed about what? Power Query. Whatever the topic I discussed on that day, with the same name, I will save it. Today I discussed about Power Query user interface. So just go to the desktop, click on save it. So once you saved it, you can publish it. Go to the home tab. How can you publish this report to the Power BI service? You need to click on publish. When I click on publish, it will ask to which workspace you need to publish. So we created one workspace. So instead of batch, so let's rename this. Let me rename this workspace. 9 a.m. Feb. I'll directly give you like this. 9 a.m. Feb 2021 Power BI files. I'm just renaming it. So instead of batch 9 a.m. I renamed it. Remember this workspace name, guys. 9 a.m. February 2021 Power BI files. Power BI files. I'm writing here. So 9 a.m. February. Batch timing, current month, current year, Power BI files. So I'll publish this Power BI files to which workspace? When I click on publish, I want to publish it to which workspace? 9 a.m. February 2021 Power BI files. Click on select. When I click on select, this report will publish to Power BI service. So what you need to do is you just open your laptop and open any web browser in your laptop and log on there, app.powerbi.com. So app.powerbi.com is the URL. You need to log in with what? User 32. So click on user 32 at Power BI training.in and click on next. And when you click on next, it will ask the password. I shared the usernames and passwords in mail. Use the same usernames and passwords. Click on enter. Once click on enter, you will be logging to Power BI service. You need to go to where? Workspaces. Go to workspaces and you will find one workspace with the name. You will be landing in the home tab. From the home tab, you need to go to workspaces folder. In the workspaces folder, you will find an option called, you will find a workspace with the name 9 a.m. February 2021 files. Click on it. When you click on it, you will see the report which I published. Go to the content folder there. Go to the content folder. In the content folder, you will find the report. When you click on this report, the report will open and you can see what content we published there. How can you copy this notepad? So one way you can directly download that report to your local machine. So one thing what you can do is you can download this report happily. Click on this file menu, download the PBX file. I can close this. Now one thing I can do is once opening the report, I can download that report to my local machine. Go here, click on download the PBX file. In the file menu, download the PBX file. When I click on download, a Power BI file will be downloaded. You can open it and you can open it and you can copy it. That is one way. The another way to copy this is, so just to open the report and directly you cannot copy the text. You'll find an option called edit here. When you click on edit, it will allow you to copy. Control All, Control C, open a new notepad and paste it to your notepad, guys. Right. So now you can see whatever the content I copied from the web. The same way you can even open the report. So just do one thing. Just create one folder in your laptop. Every day, whatever the files I'm going to publish here, download those files and keep it in your local folder. So keep it in your local folder so that tomorrow for reference, they will help you. Create one folder with the name Power BI files, download it. How to download this file? Go here, file menu, click on download the PBX file. If you think that downloading the files and it is occupying space, just you can copy the notepad by clicking on this. So just copy this notepad and add your own points to this notepad. Every class, add some points about the topic to that notepad. For tomorrow when you want to refer, when you go to interview or when you want to refer quickly about any topic, you can just go through that notepad and you can refer it, right? So before we stop for today, anybody have any questions?
Videos also shared through mail or videos are not accessible?
Videos will not be shared. Only I'll share it. If there is any complex topic, if there is any important topic, if there is any important topic.
We want to review the topic, how will...
See, I'll share materials, I'll share running notes. So if there is any complex topic where we have a lot of navigations, I'll share that videos. All the classes videos will not be shared. If you are not still able to understand any class, you can send a message to me. So I want this so and so class. So if you're not able to still follow the class,
sometimes you are going very speed. We want to step by step. We can review the video and again to again play, and we
no
can
need,
practice it.
no need. So
How?
this is not the first batch. So still now I'd never share any videos to any batch people. Only thing you need to do is, so if you are clear with the introduction classes, here I am not doing lot of navigations here. Even I am writing whatever the navigations. If I think that some navigation is required, I'll write it here. If you want to enable the formula bar, I write it here. So if you are still not able to follow it, I said that I will share the class video, not all the classes video. If you want to still listen to this module one more time, you can attend in another batch.
Okay.
Fine, guys. Let me stop here for today. We'll continue from here in tomorrow's class. If you do the practice every day, you don't find any difficulties. So when you will find difficulties is, so I am done with 5 introduction classes. Some people will think that yes, we have that videos, we can do it whenever I want. Obviously you'll find some difficulties. Every day if you do 2 hours of practice, what we discussed in that class, you don't find any difficulties at all. It is not that much complex. Might be initially 1 or 2 days you might think that it is bit complex, navigation is bit complex. It is very simple. So just do the practice every day. Yes, tell me. Someone is asking some question, please. Fine. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow.